Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
It's been a great interview.
Sir, if I may, I have
Sure.
one question. Has there been any sheriff that has told Homeland Security to take a walk when the federal government is putting representatives of Department of Homeland Security into their offices? And if not, how would they go about doing
I
so?
haven't seen that yet personally. I do know that some sheriffs have told the federal government to back off on some issues. I don't know if it's specifically Homeland Security, but I do know a sheriff in Nye County, Nevada, has told the federal government to back off on some issues there. I do know that Sheriff Gower in Iron County, Utah, has told the federal government to back off there. Which department in particular, I'm not certain, but I do know that 25 county sheriffs in the San Joaquin Valley of California should have told the federal government where to get off when they turned off the water to the all the farms and to the
And diverted it into the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly, and now they're just dumping that irrigation water into the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
And so those sheriffs should have turned the water back on and told that federal judge, you're not going to destroy life, liberty, and property in these counties. And 25 county sheriffs, who's going to tell them no?
Right.
Who's going to stand up to them? And that's the whole thing with this purpose of the power to the sheriff. If we get hundreds of sheriffs doing this nationwide, the people will get back their freedom back. That's all there is to it. It will.
Yeah.
It might sound too simple, but all we need now is the sheriff to say, ready, set, go, and do it.
I have two things. First, I'd like to thank you for everything you do and really respect you a lot. Also, what do you think the significance of open carry is to have in the state?
Well, you know, I actually prefer no permits on the right to keep and bear arms. If you want to carry it open or concealed, that's up to you. That's what the Second Amendment's about. I don't believe in any infringements. I believe the Second Amendment was written as is. I think the Founding Fathers knew what they were talking about. If I had a gun on right now, everyone would know if I didn't have it covered. Now I have it covered, there's less alarm for everyone, and I know that I'm armed and the bad guy doesn't.
One analogy I heard was like in the Old West, all the good guys, they carried their gun so everyone knew they had a gun, and it was the outlaws and the bad guys that hid their weapons.
Yeah.
It seems like now the good guys have to hide their weapon.
Right.
Do you think it would be beneficial to the public if everyone knew who had a gun, so everyone knew that this man is armed? And
I think, well, in law enforcement, they taught us that everybody is armed. You know, and you know, I don't care who is or who isn't, but I know that I am, and I hope that you are. You know, and I'm not armed today because I flew in, and I don't want to mess with Homeland Security with taking the gun on the plane, but I always have a gun close by, and I hope that you do too, because I want you to be able to protect yourself and your families just like I do mine. If I keep a concealed gun, it proposes no threat to anyone. No one. And so I say the same way. You know, if cops are trained to believe that everybody's armed, then you better well too. And I hope that someday that a citizen would be there to stop some of these school shootings that are going on. An armed citizen, you know, doesn't need to be a deputy, doesn't need to be anybody else, just an armed citizen to save lives. And that's happened in some places. And in one of the schools, actually, I think in Alabama, a guy went out to his truck, had to go out to his truck. Wouldn't it be better to have it inside? And one of the stupidest things we've done in this country, and I say this honestly from law enforcement perspective, one of the stupidest things we've done is tell every pedophile, maniac, and ex-con that our schools are all gun-free zones. You can come in here with a gun and do whatever you want because nobody else is going to have a gun to stop you. That's absurd. Even if we lied, it would be better to tell them all the schools are armed. You know, even if that's a lie, at least tell them, at least bluff them. Tell them the schools are all armed. Tell them all teachers have access to a gun in a strategic place. But don't tell them, invite them and the doors are all open and come on in. That's absurd.